So, my dear friends, welcome to all of you for the holistic lifestyle. Today, the part of holistic lifestyle, let's understand glucose in the body. So, friends, the first thing is the glucose. We get glucose by eating whatever the food input. The input what you give to your physical body, it gets digested. Once the food, whatever the food you give input to your physical body, it get digested. Then the output of that digestion, something the energy what it generates is called glucose. So this glucose will be mixed with your blood. It gets into the blood and then it goes to the all the organs of the physical body through the blood. So through the blood, it will be supplied. All this physical energy, so-called glucose energy, will be supplied to all your physical organs, especially through the blood. It will be conveyed. Okay, so that's how you get the glucose energy in your physical body. Before that, let's understand how does, say, especially this glucose with respect to how does the glucose is generated within the plant. Friends, the glucose is the main product, right? So which especially if you take any plant, any tree, any crop you take, right? So what it does is it also produces the glucose. How does it produce the glucose? Basically, it takes CO2, carbon dioxide, right? CO2 it takes the CO2 and then it takes sunlight. It takes the water, CO2, sunlight. So all these things the plant will receive, take it, and then these are the inputs for the so-called photosynthesis. So the photosynthesis happens, and then it generates something called glucose. Friends, these glucose, what happens, whatever it is produced, especially in the plant, this glucose, what is generated inside the plant, especially, that is used in order to produce all carbohydrates, fiber, proteins, etc. within the plant itself. Try to understand this. Okay, it's very, very important point. So now, once these proteins, carbohydrates, fiber is generated using the glucose energy, isn't it? So now these carbohydrates and fiber proteins, how it is conveyed to our physical body? Especially we eat, right? Especially grains, vegetables, fruits, pulses, all the oils. All these things we are going to consume every day. So through which we will be getting all these fiber, protein, carbohydrates, because this is already existing in the crop, already existing in the plant itself. So we will be consuming those plants in the form of grains, in the form of vegetables, in the form of fruits. So that's how we will also receive, so especially these fiber, proteins, carbohydrates into our physical body. Again, that get digested, then it becomes a glucose energy. So this is how the cycle of the complete cycle of generation of glucose right from the plant to the human being, my dear friends. Okay, try to understand. So now, what will happen is in our blood, every healthy person, for example, a healthy person, take healthy person. Healthy person will have about 5 to 6 liters of the blood within everybody. It will be flowing through the entire physical body about to 5 to 6 liters. What will happen? The amount of glucose present in every liter of your blood is 1 gram. It must be at least 1 gram should be there. It must not be more. It can be up to 1 gram. If it is 1 gram of glucose exists in your blood, so what will happen, friends? So that will be a healthy body or healthy lifestyle. Okay, so that's how what will happen. So this 1 gram is sufficient in order to make your all organs function. All the physical body organs needs the glucose energy. So definitely, which is very much available in the blood itself. But if it is 1 gram, you are a healthy person. So what will happen is all of a sudden, so we go and drink, coffee, tea, otherwise Pepsi, Coke, or whatever it may be. So or a sugar sweet, sweet with made up of sugar. If you eat like that, what will happen? Suddenly there will be a flush of the glucose generated inside your blood. That will be about 150 grams, especially, my dear friends. Now this 1 gram to 150 grams when there is a huge, the huge increase, right? So now, how do you burn this glucose, especially? See, friends, whenever a normal glucose level exists in the blood, general walking, when you do walking, daily walking, what you do, so 15 minutes of walking is going to burn about 1 gram of glucose. That is the formula. So in that case, 5 to 6 grams always exist in your blood. That's what I told. The glucose always presents. So in the healthy body, 5 to 6 grams. If you want to burn the entire 46 grams, how much time you need to walk? About 75 minutes. 15 minutes into 5 grams. About 75 minutes you walk. Normal walking. Okay. Walking must be like, it's a long walk. It need not be a brisk walking. Brisk walking, running is not at all required, and it's against the nature of the human being, my dear friends. So that's why it's just a normal walk for a long time. If you do 75 minutes, if you do 5 to 6 grams of glucose will be spent, or it will be melted, or it will be used by the physical body. Okay, so what will happen? All that energy will be released in the form of sweat and all these things from you. Then all the toxins also will go out. So now this is how it happens, my dear friends. But what will happen? This 150 grams glucose came into your physical body, into the blood. Now, how do you make it to go out? Is it possible? That is not going to be possible. The reason is, can you walk 30 to 40 hours? Just in order to consume 15 minutes, 1 gram glucose will be spent, right? So in that manner, if you calculate for 150 grams, you need to walk up to 30 to 40 hours. It is quite impossible. Okay, so that is why. So what is the other mechanism? How do you clean this? How do you clean this excess amount of glucose which is already present in the physical body? For all of us, many of the people, unknowingly having no wisdom on the food itself. We have no wisdom on the food, what food to be taken, how much to be taken. We have no wisdom at all. We have no knowledge at all. We are ignorant people, right? So that's how what will happen. Already in our physical body, lot of glucose must be there. In order to consume, in order to make all that glucose to be spent, so what we have to do, friends? So there are a lot of methods we have been discussing. One is fasting. Fasting is the best method. Fasting is the best method in order to totally digest your entire so-called the already accumulated glucose. Friends, another thing is the glucose which is excessive in quantity inside the blood. It's not going to be as it is like that. What happens in the physical body? There is a provision again. There is one more facility. What will happen is liver and especially liver and pancreas, right? All these so-called this endocrine glands, all this, especially what will happen is these will be doing one particular functionality. What do they do, friends? What will happen is this liver, pancreas, endocrine glands, like pituitary gland, thyroid glands, right? So all these things, what they're supposed to do in functionality in your physical body, they try to do the functionality of purification or the excretion, the kind of that kind of functionality has to be completely, that is their actual duty, prime duty. But they keep that prime duty aside because the excessive amount of glucose already came into the blood. Now what they do is they start working on this excess amount of glucose. What do? They take this excessive glucose, convert into glucose in packets, okay, sugar packets. So they keep reserving with so especially with the liver. So they keep reserving the liver. Whenever there is a shortage of the glucose, then this glucogen packets will be reutilized, my dear friends. So that's how one thing will happen. Second thing, it also converts this excessive glucose into triglycerides. Okay, that also happens. It also converts into the so-called cholesterol. It also converts into the fat. What is that? Excessive glucose which is present in the physical blood. Okay, my dear friends, if you try to understand this, you'll be so careful about when you are eating, all the excessive, the sugar related component or sugar related items, my dear friends. So you need to understand this. So now what happens? So the entirely total excessive glucose which is existing in the blood, which has been converted into cholesterol, fat component, triglyceride component, glucogens, and now what happened? This especially fat and triglycerides. So what it does is it is going to face in the walls of all the arteries, all the blood vessels, and also it's going to paste this X amount of fat will go to come into the waist and hip and waist parts, otherwise thighs. So everywhere it will go on paste it, so that the person become obesity person, right? Obviously, you become a obesity person. So that's how the importance of glucose is so much. Please understand this: the right way of eating the food, the conscious way of eating the food, and scientific way of eating the food is much essential, my dear friends. Now, the final conclusion I would like to give. So on this day, especially with respect to glucose, my dear friends, so always try to eat the foods which are having highest amount of fiber. So rich foods like millets, java godi, unpolished organic rice, instead of a rice, a normal rice and wheat and sugar. So all these things you must avoid completely, and then go for the alternatives: millets, java godi, bajra, ragi, unpolished rice, right? So all this, so this kind of a these kind of things we have to go for this, and you have to replace this the regular white rice and godi. If you do this, what will happen? The accumulation of this glucose in your blood will be properly controlled. That means the accumulation of this glucose will not be excessive, which will be always in the slow and steady manner. The glucose will be released into your blood. Then what will happen? Your blood will at all times, all the times, the amount of availability of the glucose must be in the controlled manner. It must never be in the excessive manner in your blood at all. Otherwise, so what will happen? It leads to a lot of complications. It leads to what kind of diseases? Everything. BP, sugar, diabetic, BP, heart problems, and obesity, whatnot. Every problem will come in your physical body. My dear friends, so by understanding this, please try to follow all these things. Okay? Right.